Alright guys, Revolve Ross not here, and I'm back today for the first time on camera for quite a long time. I think this is the first time I've been on camera, number one, since I got married. There's my ring. Number two, since I got a new tattoo, the Hitman logo on my opposite wrist to my Mass Effect logo, well, the N7 logo. And thirdly, I think since Man U got a new manager, so big three things happening. One much more important than the other. I know you've obviously heard me, and obviously you've seen some of the Platinum Trophy Pops I've put on YouTube, the Wolf Among Us I got on January the 1st, I believe, where I did actually talk in that video because it was a PS3 Platinum, and then before that it would have been Eliza P. It's been a slow couple of Platinums recently, but I do have two on the horizon that will come very soon, and when I get those there will be a story behind them. But for now, you just have to wait and see what those games are. Manchester United top today. We actually play in a couple of hours' time, so I always wear a top to sort of support the team and hopefully give us a little bit of good luck, which I have given us in the last couple of weeks under Michael Carrick as an interim manager. But I'm not here today to talk about Manchester United. I'm here today to talk about the Royal Rumble 2026. The Riyadh Rumble, pretty much the banner says, Royal Riyadh Rumble. Royal Rumble 2026, the first Royal Rumble to ever take place in the kingdom, the wonderful kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I watched the show last night because it was at a decent time. It's the Royal Rumble. I'm never going to miss a Royal Rumble. And I've decided to review it because I want to. And I think when I watch these shows sometimes, I go, that's a show worth reviewing, or there's something I want to talk about, or Royal Rumble is very special. I haven't reviewed every Royal Rumble over the years. I did miss 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. But they are the most exciting shows of the year because you get your Wrestlemania build here. You get debuts and NXT call-ups and surprises and things like that. And so, yeah, I wanted to review this show. And I'm going to review this show. It had four matches on the show. Actually, going into the show, I was pretty excited, and that excitement was maybe misplaced, but we'll see as I talk about the show. Anyway, so four matches on the show. Obviously, we had the opening package and talking about the Rumble and all the stats and bits about the Rumble, and obviously this year's Royal Rumble was in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where they announced that it was a 25,000 seat arena that did not look like it had 25,000 people in it. Looking at the actual stadium, it looks preposterously empty, and this is not just AEW fan besmirching WWE. It was preposterous how empty this stadium was, because AEW hasn't been my favourite product over the last year either. And do you know what? One thing I do want to say is WWE. You know what? I think I'll talk about that as we go through the show. What I want to say about WWE over the last year under Triple H. But let's get into the show. So the opening match on the show was the Women's Royal Rumble. A Women's Royal Rumble has not main evented a Royal Rumble pay-per-view since the very first one, and I think we could change that. Just flop it every year. I mean, I actually think eventually they will go 2 nights for a Royal Rumble, just like they do for SummerSlam, and just have one on each night. Sounds perfect, really. Because then each one can be the main event. But yeah, why not just let the women have the main event one year? It makes a lot of sense, and equality for all and all that. And people will say to me, no, Ross, well, the men's Royal Rumble went on first in 2023. It did go on first. It was the first match on the show. But the women did not main event that show because that show was main evented by Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I may be a dickhead, but at least I am a non-knowledgeable dickhead. So the women's Royal Rumble, there was one possibility of who could win this, and as you get through the match, we shall see if that changes. So number one was Charlotte Flair. I'm going to go through the whole thing as I usually do. I think that if I don't go through the whole thing, I'll miss a lot. And I think actually going through the names and saying what they did gives me a little bit more to talk about and say if things were good or I liked them or not. So number 1 was Charlotte Flair. Number 2 was Alexa Bliss. My wife actually predicted Alexa Bliss would win before the Rumble. I basically gave her the list of names. She picked a woman, she picked a man, she picked Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, first 2 in the Rumble, obviously a tag team, and so they sort of pretended to eliminate each other and basically showed each other that they would be solid. And then number 3 was Kiana James. Now, I don't watch SmackDown every week, but I can tell you what Kiana James is. She is a lackey to Julia, the Women's United States Champion. And she is the one who takes pinfalls. She is the joke of the pair. And Kiana James came out here and 2v1'd both babyfaces, Charlotte and Alexa, which was absolutely preposterous. By the way, I do have a can of Fanta. I might need to, in fact, I'll open it now. Just because I think I'll need it, because this is going to be long. So she came out, Kiana James, and 2v1'd both women. Oh, the other thing I should say, obviously because we were in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, all the women had their bodysuits on, and the one thing I kept thinking in this matchup with the bodysuits, I kept forgetting who everyone was. Like, I have a visual impairment, so obviously I can't see people's eyes and face and hair colour and all that all the time. But when you see the outfits, they're so ingrained in my memory. I know what Charlotte wrestles in. I know what Alexa Bliss wrestles in. I know what Jordynne Grace wrestles in. And Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan and Sol Ruka. But watching this match, I completely forgot because of all the different bodysuit Power Rangers outfits. So yeah, that was one of the things I really did not like. And it's just the way it is. It's just the way it's going to be. But I was dreading it before the match started, and I was dreading it as the match went on. So Kiana James comes out at number 3, and 2v1'd both women. Number 4 was Nia Jax. She basically did the same thing, 2v1 in both women. Number 5 was Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile, in my predictions with my friends, was the person I predicted would be eliminated first. So, this was good that she was in this early. Number 6 was our first surprise. It was Lola Vice from NXT. Everybody knows that I love Lola Vice. She came in, spinning kicks to everyone, a back fist, I believe, to Kiana James, who was taking a lot of punishment, but was still in. Candice LeRae was number 7. And at this point, we finally had some eliminations. So, Nia Jax eliminated 3 women. Firstly, she eliminated Lola Vice. Then she eliminated Candice LeRae. And thirdly, she eliminated Ivy Nile, which meant I was 2. There's just a pop-up, I'm so sorry. Oh, gosh. It's all going wrong, guys. There you go. Thirdly, she eliminated Ivy Nile, which meant she had 3 eliminations. And then we had the next 2 eliminations, which happened when number 8 came out, which was Jordynne Grace. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, basically Charlotte. Oh my gosh, there's pop-ups everywhere, guys. I really don't want this to ruin my recording. I'm just going to leave it there and hope it pays off. So Jordynne Grace came out. Nia Jax was Charlotte. Oh goodness me, everything's going wrong. There you go. That's going to have to do. What minute are we on? Yeah, we're okay. Sorry, guys. This is so rinky-dink sometimes, the way I record this. So Nia Jax was on the apron with Alexa Bliss after Charlotte and Alexa had double-teamed her to get to the apron. Nia Jax is holding Alexa Bliss. Charlotte big boots Nia Jax, and Nia Jax basically pulls Alexa Bliss with her. So Alexa Bliss is also eliminated. Quite an early elimination for Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. Look, she might not be that great, but it was quite an early elimination, and it did mean she was not in the Rumble at the same time as Lash Legend. 3 eliminations, though. Oh, was it Jordynne Grace? No, Jordynne Grace eliminated someone, I just can't remember who it was. I'll be able to tell you. Oh, okay, I know who eliminated Jordynne Grace. Oh, actually, it says it here. She's got 3 eliminations, Jordynne Grace. I guess I'll find out who they are. Number 9 was the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch. At this point, we only have Charlotte Jordynne Grace and Becky Lynch in the ring. Oh, and Kiana James, by the way. Kiana James. Number 10 was Sol Ruka. She came in with soul snatchers for everyone. 11 was the first member of the Women's Judgment Day, and it was Roxanne Perez. Number 12 was Maxine Dupree, and she locked in the ankle lock on Becky Lynch, but was eventually eliminated by Becky Lynch, I believe. Yep. Number 13 was Natty, not Natalya Neidhart, Natty. She got into it with Maxine Dupree before, rather surprisingly, eliminating Becky Lynch. Now, I'm not against a Natty push. I am very surprised she eliminated the Women's Intercontinental Champion, and what that also told me was that AJ Lee was not getting involved in this Royal Rumble, because the only way she was going to get involved was if Becky was in the Rumble. And when Becky... It was also a weird elimination, because Becky got eliminated, and she sat with her feet off the floor, and she was almost pointing to her feet like, my feet haven't touched the floor, but they just carried on as if it had happened. So, yeah, that was weird. That was weird spot. At 14, we had Liv Morgan, second member of the Women's Judgment Day. She saved Roxanne Perez a couple of times. Roxanne Perez was dressed as the green woman from Kim Possible, but I cannot remember her name. And I really liked Kim Possible. Me and my wife really liked Kim Possible as kids. So I cannot remember what her name was. Number 15 was Lash Legend. Lash went on an absolute tear, eliminating 5 people in the end. One of them was Jordynne Grace, who she just press slammed to the floor, which looked like it sucked. She eliminated a bunch of other people as well. People you wouldn't expect as well. Zelina Vega was number 16. She didn't do a lot. She did a pretty crummy head kick and things like that. She was eliminated by Rhea Ripley, I believe. Number 17 was Raquel Rodriguez, which meant that all 3 members of the Judgment Day were in the match. Number 18 was Chelsea Green. She came in with Alba Fire as part of her secret service. She tried making friends with the Judgment Day, but they beat her down. She eventually would make friends with somebody else for a brief period of time. Number 19 was the Women's United States Champion, Julia. And at this point, there's another pop-up, guys. Just going to ignore the next one, I think. Oh my gosh. There's not a thing for it. There you go. There you go. I'm going to leave it. Oh. There you go. So, Julie was number 19. She was in the... right. So, Julia got in the ring, and by that point in the match, Kiana James had been eliminated. But Kiana James at that point had lasted about 25 minutes or so, and it was very bizarre. Kiana James, who never gets a push on SmackDown, never wins matches, suddenly was getting a Rumble decent push. It was very strange. It honestly could have... Someone else could have used it. Julia came in. She gave an Arrivederci knee strike to someone on the apron. And that eliminated... Oh, it was Zelina Vega, I think. And that eliminated Zelina Vega. Io Sky was number 20. Asuka was 21. Rhea Ripley was 22. And Bayley was 23. We had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky working together against the Judgment Day. They kept getting beaten down, though. Number 4 was another surprise from NXT. It was Jacy Jane, the NXT Women's Champion. She did a couple of things. I mean, Jacy's not a super surprising call. She's not a call-up, but, it's Jacy Jane. What are you going to do? Number 25 was Nikki Bella. Number 26 was Lyra Valkyria, which meant that her and Bayley were working together. Number 27 was Kalani Jordan from NXT. Number 28 was Kairi Sane. And Kairi was in the ring for a very short period of time. Kairi and Asuka, there was a moment where Asuka was pushed to the apron, and Kairi was holding her hands, keeping her in the ring. And basically, Io hit Kairi in the back. Kairi dropped Asuka, so she was eliminated. And then Rhea immediately eliminated Kairi. That was good sort of stuff for that storyline, though. So, fair enough. There's so many pop-ups on this computer, guys. I'm just going to accept it and have to deal with it. Number 29 was Brie Bella. Probably the only surprise, really, of the whole Rumble. And she got the easiest pop of all time because she's Daniel Bryan's wife. and so the crowd did go fairly ballistic for Brie Bella. She came in, a couple of things, yes kicks. Her and Nikki Bella together would eliminate Lyra Valkyria and Bayley with like head scissors, Hurricane Ranas, backflip things. Then they would eventually get eliminated together by Raquel Rodriguez, I think. No. Brie got eliminated by Lash Legend, and Nikki got eliminated. I think they both got eliminated by Lash Legend. This was when she went on a tear, eliminating a bunch of people, like Nikki and Brie and Jordan Grace, as I said earlier. And number 30 was Tiffany Stratton, back from her injury. So that was the bunch of women in the Rumble. So it basically came down to like Raquel, Liv, Roxanne was eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was eliminated with an absolutely disgusting Tejana bomb, where Raquel Rodriguez gave her a Tejana bomb onto the ring apron. That looked like death. And it basically came down to Raquel, Liv, Tiffany Stratton, Sol Ruka. I think they were the final four. And Liv, immediately after Raquel eliminated Rhea, dunked Raquel over the top rope. So basically played her hand of wanting to be the one to win. And it came down to three blondes, Tiffany, Sol Ruka, and Liv Morgan. I thought this was very good when it was just the three of them, and there was a bit of tension there. You didn't quite know if Tiffany would win and go on to face Jade in a Mania rematch for the title, or maybe could they do something really cool and have Sol Ruka win? That would be quite the feat in her first real main roster match, apart from the Bayley match, which is almost as non-canon. Sol Ruka hit a double Soul Snatcher on both women, but couldn't get them over the top ropes. Sol Ruka earlier in the match did eliminate JC Jane though with a Soul Snatcher, and then she just picked her up and threw her out, and that makes me think that maybe Sol Ruka is just getting an NXT title shot at Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend. All three women went to the apron, and this was very good. This was very tense stuff. Sol Ruka went for a Soul Snatcher in the corner, and Tiffany just pulled her leg out, so Sol fell to the floor. She was eliminated. As Tiffany turned around, she took a Oblivion from Liv off the apron to the floor. Liv landed on the apron, rolled back in the ring. Liv Morgan won the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble. I was pretty harsh on this last night. And, I think it's just the predictability of Liv winning really did sour it for me. Like, I have no problem with Liv. I'm not super interested in a Liv-Stephanie Vaquer WrestleMania match. But if they want to shake it up and create something, then they could always have Raquel Rodriguez just win the women's title and make it Liv and Raquel and make Liv a babyface. Because when Liv won the Rumble, there was a babyface pop. And she did eliminate Raquel. And, she was a heel in the matchup. Like, the finish was still a relatively heely finish. But if she got a big pop winning, then Tiffany would have got winning. So maybe run with her as a babyface. Like, that would be the way to turn a babyface, is to have Raquel win the world title and notice that Liv has that Royal Rumble win, and, Liv just be like, well, that's my title, and I'm going to challenge for it, have Raquel attack her, get Roxy on Raquel's side. It's a very easy story to do, and if they do that, I'll be completely fine with it. I'm not super interested in a Liv Morgan-Stephanie Vaquer match. As good as Stephanie Vaquer is, Liv Morgan is good, and I think they'll have a pretty good match, just not super WrestleMania calibre like we've had the last couple of years. But the match overall, it was better than I thought it was last night. Last night I thought it was a pretty drab Women's Royal Rumble. Actually looking at it now and thinking about the moments, and Brie Bella's big reaction for a yes chance, and a couple of the NXT call-ups getting good show-ins, and Lash Legend getting a good show-in, I thought it was a pretty good Women's Rumble. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. And that's a lot of that probably goes to the 3 win at the end. I thought Tiffany, Sol Ruka, and Liv Morgan did really well together. Sol Ruka is a woman who doesn't need too much more time in NXT. She is a bit green, but she's got so much athleticism, sort of different things that she does, and she's exciting. She won't need to be there for much longer. So if they want to move her to the main roster pretty soon, I do that. I just see her beating JC Jane for the NXT title there, because I've built that for quite a while. So 3.25 stars, a pretty good women's rumble, not the best women's, nowhere near as good as last year's. Last year's women's rumble I thought was really high quality. But yeah, Liv Morgan wins, crowd were happy. It was a heel win, which I'll talk about again in a couple of matches. Second match on the show, and we had the career-threatening match as AJ Styles faced Gunther. Obviously, Gunther beat AJ a couple of weeks ago with fairly cheap tactics, and so they had a rematch here where if Gunther defeated AJ Styles would have to retire. So, let's try this again. Nah, it's not going to have it. There was a career-threatening match back at the 2008 Royal Rumble between Ric Flair and MVP? Yeah? MVP. MVP or Mr. Kennedy, it's one of them. Because I know he did 2 career-threatening matches at Royal Rumble and No Way Out, and it was Kennedy and MVP. I just can't remember which way around it was. So yeah, and that was an opening match on the show, and when it's the opening match on the show, and it's a career-threatening match, and it's Ric Flair, by the way, there was no way he was going to lose. AJ Styles, in the second match of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, against Gunther, who has already beat him, and in Saudi Arabia, there was no way I thought AJ Styles would lose. And they had an excellent match. I thought this was very slow, but it built well. Gunther dominated most of AJ Styles, going for the sleeper hold, the classic Gunther offense. There wasn't a lot of chops until deep into the matchup, though. Gunther was more stiff clotheslines, big lariats. He got a powerbomb for a near fall. There was another powerbomb a little bit later for a near fall. Classic, I think he went for a superplex at one point, and AJ blocked it and went for something. AJ hit a 450 at one point. He hit a Nushka Roshi. He hit a Styles Clash after the 450, which Gunther kicked out of. He locked in the calf killer at one point, and Gunther just did the Brock Lesnar of just slamming AJ's head and then locking him in sleeper hold. It was an excellent match, and it built really, really well, and it built towards a finish where AJ realistically could have lost. And AJ is in the corner, and Gunther is chopping the hell out of him. I'm going to try and keep the swearing to a minimum. Gunther is chopping the hell out of AJ, and then he's clubbing him and clotheslining him, and AJ gets up against the ropes, and he pushes his chest, and he says, "Give me more," and Gunther does that, and AJ goes for something out of an electric chair. I think, oh no, AJ hits a powerbomb of his own, like a stacked up powerbomb of his own. Gunther kicks out. AJ ends up in an electric chair position. Gunther throws him off. AJ goes for a Pele kick, but Gunther locks him in the sleeper hold. And AJ Styles is on the mat, and he's been grapevined with the legs by Gunther, and he's elbowing Gunther's legs, and he gets up. Gunther takes him back to the mat, and he's elbowing Gunther again, trying to get out. And then there's a point where he's reaching towards the ropes. Gunther is on top of him, all of his weight on the back of AJ as well. And AJ's reaching towards the ropes. Gunther grabs his hand, pulls it back between his leg, and then falls sort of sideways. So you're looking right at the hard cam. And AJ's fading and fading and fading, and his arm goes limp. And the referee, who is Rudy Charles, or whatever is Dan Angler, I think his WWE name is, his real name. Dan Angler picks up AJ's arm, isn't moving, and he calls for the bell. And AJ Styles retired, or had his last match, at least in WWE. It said career threatening, that's the only thing I keep thinking. Had his last match here in the WWE, maybe ever. And the best part is it was a bit like an MMA finish where a minute later, AJ's woken up, he doesn't know where he is, he looks around, and the referee says, "AJ, sorry, there's nothing I can do." And Gunther immediately gets out of the ring, goes up the ramp. And AJ has a moment in the ring with a crowd, where they're chanting AJ Styles and phenomenal, and takes his gloves off, goes to put them down, but he can't do it. And he puts them back on, he does the pose, and he goes and poses on the turnbuckle, goes out the ring, goes and poses on the turnbuckle again. And that is it. By the look of it, people said that 2026 was going to be the year of AJ Styles. I didn't realise it was going to be the month of AJ Styles. This was really miserable, and this is the word I use to my friend a lot through the show. The show feels very miserable. This didn't need to happen like this. AJ Styles is completely in charge of when his career ends, but did it have to end to a guy who's already retired, Goldberg and John Cena, willingly? Those two obviously retired willingly. Goldberg's 58 or whatever. John Cena's absolutely fine with his career ending the way it did. Did this really need to happen? Did Gunther need to do this? And by the way, Gunther, one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Walter is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. And I have noticed that his style has changed slightly in WWE. He doesn't use chops as much anymore, which is a bit of a shame. It's probably my favourite part of Gunther. But this was, by the look of it, an AJ Styles retirement match, and we will know more on Raw tonight. We will see if he gets a celebration or something like that, and if he does, if AJ Styles is on Raw tonight and he gets a celebration thing like a big retirement ceremony, then yeah, I'm pretty sure that is it, and he's one of my favourites of all time, and this just made me absolutely miserable. And people are going to say, well, look, it's his time, you shouldn't be miserable. It's not that I'm miserable that he's retiring. I'm absolutely fine with him retiring this year. It's the way this happened. This was an excellent match. I'm going to give the match 4.5 stars. I thought it was an excellent match. Really, really great. Wrestled excellently. But that's part of it. Like, you watched... I haven't seen the Nakamura match, by the way, so I can't comment on that. But you watch this match and you go, why is he retiring? Like, look how good he is. You know, John Cena's a bit different. Like, he's nowhere close. Whereas this match was like, look how good he still is. And if he retired in 6-7 months' time, if he retired at WrestleMania even, I would have been like, fair enough. But it was the Royal Rumble in front of a Saudi crowd that was empty. So, yeah, it was very weird, very strange. If it is retirement, one of my favourites of all time. One of the only reasons I watched TNA back in the day. Him and the Guns and Beer Money. So, it was an excellent match today, 4.5 stars. If it is the last match, what a great last match. And as I said to my friend, I said, there's an excellent match, but I just feel miserable. And the third match didn't help that. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn, basically in a home sort of state as a Muslim, surrounded by Muslims. Sami Zayn's first WWE Championship singles match. The Roman match was for the undisputed Universal WWE Championship thing. So not quite the same thing. I think Roman had both belts at that point. Yeah, because he turned it into one belt after the Mania win over Cody, I think. But anyway, I digress. So Sami Zayn's first WWE Championship match in Saudi Arabia in front of his Muslim family against Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Drew only won the belt a few weeks ago. But after what we'd just seen, we needed some happiness. Like, we needed something. And this was 90% a Drew McIntyre beatdown. It was destruction. Drew destroyed Sami. It was brutal. And Sami was like a jobber. Like, it wasn't quite a jobber. It was a bit like a United States Open... It was a bit like an Open Challenge match where Drew is up here as a main event. Sami's like here. And it did not make Sami Zayn look like anything like a main eventer. And if there is no resolution to that, then this was an absolute waste of Sami Zayn. Sami's terrific, and Drew's also great. So this was also a very good match. It was just very bizarrely played out. Sami got very little offense in. You know, Sami got a desperation Blue Thunder Bomb. He got a desperation Exploder Kick and a desperation Haluva Kick that he could not really capitalise on because he was so slow to recover. But Drew decimated him. He hit him with 3 Future Shock DDTs in a row. He hit him with a Claymore, which he kicked out of. He powerbombed Sami through the announce table. Sami was dead. All this stemmed from, by the way, Sami doing a tope con hilo and injuring his back. And after that, Drew just destroyed him. Tilt-a-whirl slam, slamming him into the apron, in the barricade, into the steps, all that good stuff. And, you know, it was a very good, very well-wrestled matchup, sorry. But very bizarre. And in the end, Sami Zayn was dead, and Drew McIntyre claymored him, and then he hit a second Claymore. He told him to look in his eyes. He hit a second Claymore, and he pinned him. And this was, again, just kind of miserable. And people will say, well, you need the bad guys to win sometimes. But this show was all about bad guys winning. And all I said to my friend, I said, if Sami Zayn doesn't win the Royal Rumble after this show will be absolutely miserable. And I'm going to give the match 3 3/4 stars. It was a very well wrestled match. It was about 16 minutes. And they did very well for 16 minutes. Sami took a hell of a lot of punishment. My first drink already, I've done very well. But yeah, very bizarre. 3 3/4 stars though. A very good, very well wrestled match. And Sami needs a route to Mania now. And we shall see, I guess, how we get there. Then we had the main event, the men's Royal Rumble. I'm going to have to scroll down to get the list up. Crikey. Anyway, so the men's Royal Rumble, let's go. So number 1 was Obafemi. However, before Obafemi came out, there was an interview or like a backstage thing where Paul Heyman went up to Adam Pearce and said about Bron Breakker getting the number 2 spot in the Rumble, and Adam Pearce said it's a blind draw. So Obafemi comes out as number 1, Bron Breakker comes out as number 2, and I am absolutely salivating because these two never met in NXT, and all I'm thinking is, oh my god, they're just going to hit each other. It's 2 big meaty boys. And Bron Breakker comes down the ramp and is attacked by a mystery man. The mystery man has the same sort of get-up that Theory had at War Games. He curb stomps Breakker, throws him in the ring. Oba immediately eliminates him. So, while I liked the actual idea of Breakker getting screwed by someone that probably isn't Seth, I actually really like the idea of Oba and Bron Breakker just beating each other up. So that was a shame. That was a shame. I'm sure I'll get that one day. Probably relatively soon. Pardon me. So, Oba's in the ring. He waits for number 3. Number 3 is Solo Sikoa. And number 4 is Rey Mysterio. And number 5 is Rusev. Obafemi just starts eliminating everyone. He eliminates Bron Breakker, obviously. He eliminates Solo Sikoa. He eliminates Rey Mysterio. He eliminates Rusev within about 20 seconds. 32 seconds. Good jump that from AEW. Matt Cardona comes out. He takes a fall from grace from Obafemi. He is eliminated. Good decision that as well. Number 7 was Damian Priest. He comes out. He lasts a little while. Number 8 is Javon Evans. He comes in and is springing everywhere and he's avoiding elimination from Damian Priest and Obafemi really, really well. He has a little clash with Oba because of their NXT history. Number 9 is Mr. Iguana. He comes out with his pet iguana and Damian Priest gives him and the iguana a South of Heaven chokeslam and then tosses him out and tosses the iguana out too. That was pretty fun. Number 10 was Trick Williams. He comes out and does a couple of things. Cody was number 11. Cody and Trick have a little bit of action. Trick didn't last too long because Cody eliminated him. He hit a crossroads on Trick and eliminated him. And then number 12 and number 13 were both El Grande Americano. The first one, number 12, was El Grande Americano Ludwig Kaiser with Rayon Bravo. And the 13th entrant was original El Grande Americano, which was Chad Gable. And Chad Gable eliminated... Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, gosh, this is silly, eliminated the new El Grande Americano and then was immediately eliminated by Trick Williams. So we've got a story there. I don't really think it needs to be a Mania match, but we've got something. Number 14 was Powerhouse Hobbs, or should I say Royce Keys. You cannot do what they did. They had the Tron say Powerhouse Hobbs. Great name. It's an awesome name for Will Hobbs. And then it changed to Royce Keys, and I was like, what a stupid name. He was in there at a good time, though, because he could have a little beef, ironically, with Obafemi and with, I think, Damian Priest was still in there at this point. So we had a little bit, he had about 10 minutes before being eliminated by someone a bit later on. Austin Theory was in next as the first member of the division, and then Bronson Reed was in next. And Bronson Reed would be the one eventually to eliminate Royce Keys. Or Bronson Reed also hit a tsunami on poor Javon Evans. Obafemi had been eliminated, I think, at this point. I just need to check who eliminated him. Oh, it was Brock. Whoops. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 17 after Bronson Reed was Ilya Dragunov. He did a couple of things, but didn't eliminate anyone, obviously. He did last 11 minutes, though. Number 18 was La Parka, the, third, fourth, fifth, sixth version of La Parka. He did some cool stuff, but then was eliminated by Austin Theory. Number 19 was Dragon Lee. He did something for 3 minutes and was eliminated by Bronson Reed. Number 20 was Logan Paul, which meant we had the 3 remaining members of the division in the ring working together, and they did eliminate a couple of people. Number 21 was LA Knight, who came in and eliminated both Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. Good comeuppance for the division after injuring LA Knight a month ago on Raw. And then number 22 was Brock Lesnar. I don't want to talk about Brock Lesnar. So all I'm going to say is, he eliminated Obafemi, which pissed me off astoundingly. And then, which maybe means we're getting a Mania match. And he was eventually eliminated by Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. After getting 3 eliminations, he also eliminated someone else. Might have been Javon Evans. Oh, no. I know I eliminated Javon Evans now, actually. Actually, it might have been Javon Evans. Number 23 was The Miz. Number 24 was Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix, right, jumped in the ring when Ober and Brock were staring each other down. Lasted about 90 seconds and got thrown out. What a waste. Jey Uso came in. He was yeeting down to the ring for so long that the next person was in, and it was Roman Reigns. Roman uppercuts Jey while Jey's doing his yeeting thing. Jacob Fatu was number 27. And at this point, Cody Rhodes was thrown out the ring by Jacob Fatu, and he was skinning the cat back in the ring. He got claymored, one of the best claymores I've ever seen because of the way Cody sold it and the actual position Cody was in. And then Jacob Fatu was eliminated by Roman Reigns straight away. So Cody, Jacob, and Drew maybe is the Mania WWE title match. Can Sami be in that? But I guess he can't because he was beaten completely clean. 28 was Penta. 29 was Randy Orton, and 30 was Gunther. So obviously a bunch of people got eliminated here. Randy Orton eliminated Javon, I believe. Javon went for the OG cutter. Randy caught him with an RKO and tossed him out. Oba got eliminated. I would say Oba got eliminated. Javon was the Iron Man, I believe, in the end. I think he lasted about 48 minutes. So good for Javon Evans actually getting a long time in the Rumble. But it came down to 4. It came down to Logan Paul, Roman Reigns, Gunther, and Randy Orton. And it wasn't a super exciting Final 4. Like, I actually looked at all 4 of them, and I was like, I've just seen Gunther kill my childhood. So I love Walter. I absolutely love him, but does he need to win the Rumble? Not really. Randy Orton doesn't need to win the Rumble. Logan Paul doesn't need to win the Rumble. And Roman Reigns doesn't need to win the Rumble more than anyone. Roman very quickly dodges a buckshot lariat and Superman punches Logan, tosses him out. Orton RKO's Roman and then gets tossed out by Gunther. So the final 2 is Gunther, who came in at number 30. And by the way, why did Gunther get a chance to declare for the Rumble when he already had a match with AJ Styles? That Finn Balor story never came up. That stupid Finn Balor story of the Rumble being full, even though there was only 15 people announced for it. And some of them were like Brock Lesnar, who hasn't been on TV in a month. Preposterous. Didn't come up again. So the final 2 was Gunther and Roman. They had about 60 seconds, 2 minutes. Gunther kept going for a sleeper. Roman sent Gunther into a buckle, speared him, threw him out. Pretty anticlimactic finish to a Rumble that made me feel, Roman won the Rumble. I have no problem with Roman Reigns, and the Saudi crowd did really like it that he won. Just like when Liv Morgan won, but I'm not super excited in a Roman Reigns world title match at Mania. I like new people sometimes getting chances. That's why I was so happy with Jay last year. Roman Reigns, I assume, will go against Punk. And the WWE title match will be Jacob, Cody, Drew, something like that. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. I'm going to give it the same. I actually gone down a little bit since last night. I'm going to give it the same sort of rating I gave the women. I thought the surprises in this one, you know, the AAA guys, I'm not super bothered about. The El Grande Americano stuff, I actually did quite like. You know, I liked Oba going on a tear. Just like Last Legend did in the women's run. I liked that someone new got to go on a tear. And I liked, you know, a couple of bits. Javon Evans getting a great run. I liked comeuppance for the Vision with LA Knight. There were some good things in this Rumble, but it certainly wasn't a great Rumble. And it certainly wasn't as great as last year's, because both Rumbles had the issue of there only being one winner. And when each entrant comes out, you know, for the women, you know, Roxanne comes out, you're waiting for Liv to come out, and then after Liv, you're like, is there anyone who can beat Liv? And the only one it could have been was really Tiffany Stratton. And for the men, I thought there was even less chance. And when we got down to 4, and it was Gunther, Randy, and Logan Paul and Roman, I was like, well, it can only be Roman. So predictability in wrestling sometimes is a good thing. And, you know, think about Bayley beating Sasha Banks in Brooklyn. Everyone knew she was going to beat her, but it didn't make the moment any less sweet. Or Cody winning the belt finally, finishing the story. You know, it didn't make it any less sweet. But here, because the predictability was so obvious and there was no other avenue to get to the goal, it made it a little bit boring. So 3.25 stars. Both Rumbles were pretty good, but they weren't blow-away Rumbles, and I don't need to watch them anytime soon. And in the end, the show was pretty miserable. And, you know, when I say miserable, I don't mean bad. I just mean pretty sad. You know, the middle 2 matches, and by the way, the crowd, because there was no one in the building, is just dead. The only match they were alive for was the AJ match, ironically. But yeah, I think overall I'm going to give the show a 7. Because no matches were bad. I thought both Rumbles were pretty good, okay. Like, they weren't blow away, they weren't a bit terrible. I've seen much worse Rumbles from both the men and the women. But they were just Rumbles. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. A good Rumble show. And, you know, it sort of follows the trend of WWE in 2025 under Triple H being a little bit stale. And, you know, Gunther tearing everyone apart is great, but I've already seen him do that as an IC champion. I don't need to see him kill everyone's careers now, because, like, how do you get comeuppance against that? You can't have his career end, he's too young. So, you know, and then you've got Roman winning a Rumble again 11 years later. You've got Liv winning a Rumble, even though she's already a main eventer and already won the world title twice. You know, you've got Sami Zayn losing in a big match and not even having an out. You know, he didn't get cheated, he just got beaten cleanly, completely, by the better wrestler. So, it was very stale, and it sort of added to my waning fandom in WWE and sort of wrestling in general. AEW's not had a great year in 2025 either. I thought, you know, it had All In, and, you know, if Forbidden Door, if I could have gone to Forbidden Door in England, I still would have. But I think that I need something, and the Rumble usually does give me something. And Mania usually makes me feel like a fan just because of how good the wrestling is. I'm not saying the wrestling in AEW or WWE last year was bad, but it just, I need something to excite me. That's what NXT always used to do. NXT 2015, 16, 17, 18, and even 19 always was exciting. Like, I just need that again from something, and I'm hoping maybe the Chamber can do it. Maybe, you know, if they have a Chamber match for the women or a Chamber match for the men, or they put the champions in the Chamber for a change, because, you know, No Way Out 2009 and Elimination Chamber 2010, I remember very fondly because of the change-ups in the Chamber, like the excitement of the champion not going to Mania. It was never a guarantee that the Rumble winner faced who the champion was at the Rumble. And, you know, do that sometimes. I really like the fact that Roman had such a long title reign, and so did Cody. But sometimes we can switch these belts a couple of times. just to stir the product up a little bit. But yeah, 7 out of 10. It was a good show, but fandom took a big hit, I think. I'm not going to not be a wrestling fan, but I need something. And I think I'm going to end it with that. I need something. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Road Wrestle Lot. I'm so sorry about all the technical mishaps. My screen literally still has pop-ups on, and I'll have to navigate that as I stop the video. But I guess thanks for watching. What were your thoughts on the 2026 Riyadh Royal Rumble? What did you think to the bodysuits, the crowd, the Rumbles themselves, the winners, Liv Morgan and Roman Reigns? And what did you think to the ending of AJ Styles' career? And Sami Zayn getting thoroughly stomped. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver